take a deep breath and know that we are dancing. And I have to tell you a little bit about this talk, how it came about, and a whole lot about that song. I absolutely love this song, and it makes me cry every time I hear it. It was released in March of 2000, but the first time I remember it, it was shortly after my granddaughter was born in April of 2001. Every word, and now I'm going to cry, but you'll just have to bear with me. Every word of the song reminded me of my prayers for my granddaughter. I know the words of the song say hope, but my feelings and thoughts were stronger than hope. I knew that she would dance. I knew that she would have that sense of wonder, and I knew that she would not only give fate the fighting chance, but I knew that God was with her through everything, and that she would not only survive, but be a beacon of light in the world. And she did, and she is. And the reason this all came up is because last week she turned 21. The first time I saw her, she was 1 week old in the neonatal intensive care unit at Chicago General in Chicago. She was born at 24 weeks, 1 pound, 4 ounces, and only as long as her grandfather's ring finger. I can't believe how tiny she was. Her lungs were underdeveloped, and she had severe breathing issues, along with many other issues of prematurity.
Right.
The day I was scheduled to fly home, she coded, and I watched as the crash cart was rolled into her room. With all thoughts of travel suspended, I joined my family in prayer and waiting. At that time, I had not yet been introduced to science of mind, but somehow my prayers were not prayers of supplication, but prayers of knowing that she was a fighter and that God had plans for her. I just knew with every fiber of my being that she was going to be okay and she was going to survive. And she did. When I finally got to see her, I told her the next time if she wanted me to stay longer, all she had to do was ask. Nothing dramatic like this, just ask. But it turns out she is fairly dramatic, and we'll go into that a little bit longer. After several weeks of touch and go and many things that happened, she was airlifted to a pediatric intensive care unit in a hospital in California, which is where my son and daughter-in-law lived. After a few weeks there, they decided that she could get better care at home. So she was released to her parents with a tracheotomy tube, an oxygen tank, and an oxygen monitor that would go off if her tube became blocked because she couldn't breathe on her own. There was a traveling nurse who came in once a day, but mostly her care was in the hands of her parents. I was working at the time, but I was there every weekend to do what I could so that I could help them out because it was a big job. Through the years, I prayed. Now, I'm not a Catholic, but I prayed in Catholic churches because I find a certain sacredness there that really speaks to me. But not only did I pray in Catholic churches, I prayed in my home, I prayed outside, I prayed wherever I was because I knew, even then, before I knew science of mind, I knew that God was everywhere. And I also didn't pray to an outside God. I spoke to the God that I know. The God that even then I knew was in, around, and through each and every one of us. And I visualized, I saw her as perfect, whole, and complete, a beloved child of God. I knew that she was a light in the world and that God held her in his loving hands, guiding, guarding, and protecting her. I can't tell you how I knew. I just knew. I knew that for her. I knew that about her. And all that helped me know the same about myself. Over the next couple of years, we had many episodes of her being rushed to emergency because of her breathing problems. Every time, to the doctor's amazement, she rallied and came out stronger. It was almost as if she had to go to the edge to remember why she was here. Now, through this all, of course, probably at least 2 years, maybe longer, her parents wanted to take her off the trach tube, but the doctor said there was just too much scar tissue and that she couldn't breathe on her own. One morning, her mother went in to get her up and saw that her trach tube had fallen out. Somehow, the monitor that was supposed to alarm us when that happened had not gone off. She seemed to be breathing fine, so my daughter-in-law didn't panic, but she was rushed to emergency, where the doctors were once again amazed. The tube was out, and she was breathing just fine. And as it turns out, this is kind of how her life has been. She decides something, and it happens in her own time, in her own place, and in her own way. My granddaughter has always been strong. Not sure where she gets the rest, but she's been strong-minded and strong-willed. Not sure where that comes from, but she's been strong-willed, and she's strong in her beliefs, not only about herself, but about the world around her. She believes in the goodness of people. She loves animals, she fights injustice, and has an innocence and an openness about her that just draws people in. She has had to overcome many obstacles in her life. She has limited vision, and she's profoundly hard of hearing, and she's somewhere on the spectrum of autism. In spite of these issues, or maybe because of them, she is an accomplished percussionist. She composes and arranges music, and has even conducted the Mount Lebanon percussion band. There was something about watching this 5-foot, 18-year-old girl in charge of all those musicians. The look of her pure joy on her face brought me to tears, and again brought home to me the fact that all things are possible if you only believe. I think part of the point of my story is that she believes in herself. There's never been a doubt in her mind that if she wants something to happen, it will happen. To her, all things are possible. She's never lost the faith of a child, and I've never lost faith in her strength and her capability to accept, adapt, and become all that she can be. Now, does everything she wants to happen always happen? Of course not. Life is not like that. But I think she lives by the words of Thomas Troward, even though she probably doesn't even know who he is. But he said that yesterday is not, tomorrow is not, but today, bright with hope and filled with promise, is mine. Today I live. Every day is a new day filled with promises and opportunities. And for her, that's exactly what it is. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. It doesn't keep her down. I think one of the reasons she has such focus is because she hears a response to the music of life, the music that you heard in that meditation, the sound of the bird, animals, little kids, music in general. She feels the joy. Her face lights up around these things. She's in awe of the world around her and has this sense of wonder of a little child. And it's kind of like our founder, Ernest Holmes says, the world is a thing of wonder, and we should be filled with a greater sense of what is wonderful. And so many times we lose that sense of wonder. It's there, but sometimes we just lose it in the busyness of our life or in the things that happen that we didn't especially want to happen. My granddaughter is still there. And yes, there have been disappointments, but she doesn't let them keep her down. She just picks herself up and goes on to the next thing. Oh, well. So yes, she dances, she sings, she laughs, she loves life and lives each moment fully. She does, as Ernest Holmes says, we are born to be happy, to be abundantly supplied with every good thing, to have fun in living, to consciously unite with the power that is around us, within us, and to grow and expand forever. My granddaughter does all that. Now, is my granddaughter familiar with Science of Mind? Well, some, because of me, but she is a Science of Mind person. If you've ever seen one, she definitely has that life is wonderful, and she knows that what she puts out there is what she gets back. So this kind of brings me back to the title of my talk and the title of the song. The title of my talk is Are You Dancing? And I might add, are you singing? Because it's not just about dancing. Are you experiencing joy? Are you really living this wonderful life that you've been given? Do you greet every day with joyful anticipation? When was the last time you laughed for no reason? I know you've watched little children playing in mud puddles and dancing in the rain. That always brings a smile to my face. But I don't think it's just them. I think it's the look of pure joy on their face. When a little child does something, they're so totally into it and they so totally experience it. And yeah, sometimes they cry because they totally experience that. But the joy on their face is just, to me, it gives me goosebumps, actually. I think somehow, as I said earlier, as we get older, we forget what it's like to just be in the moment and let everything go, to be fully immersed in what is happening now. So I'd like to close. I could go on forever, but I'd like to close by reading you the words of this song. I know you heard them in the song, but I'd like to read them to you. And as I do, I'd like you to really think about it. This is actually my prayer for my granddaughter, for myself, and for all of us, to live life fully, to enjoy every day, to dance. So the title of this song is I Hope You Dance. I hope you never lose your sense of wonder. You get your fill to eat, but always keep that hunger. May you never take one single breath for granted. God forbid love ever leave you empty-handed. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you never fear those mountains in the distance. Never settle for the path of least resistance. Living might mean taking chances, but they're worth taking. Loving might be a mistake, but it's worth making. Don't let some hell-bent heart leave you bitter. When you come close to selling out, reconsider. Give the heavens above more than just a passing glance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. Time is a wheel in constant motion, always rolling us along. Tell me who wants to look back on their years and wonder where those years have gone. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you'll give faith the fighting chance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, dance. I hope you dance. I know my granddaughter dances. I know I dance. Not always, probably not nearly enough. What about you? Will you dance? Will you fully live this life you've been given? It's totally up to you. You're always a choice. And I would like to just leave you with this affirmation. Today, I will take time to listen to the music of life I have given. I will have fun in living. I am full of joy and anticipation, and I give thanks for all I have. And so it is.